Good morning, everybody. Today's November 3rd, 2023, in this mad place we call Earth. Okay, so just a little piece of news kind of related to crypto. So there's a lot of one-issue voters in this country, and they will talk about, oh, well, I'll just pick whatever candidate's interested in promoting crypto, for example. Just like there's other single-issue voters out there that want to only vote for a candidate that will provide abortion for free for everybody, for example. You know, things like that. So we have this guy called RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr., that seems like he's, down the middle, this good guy that's not to one political extreme or the other, and just seems like he's really down to earth and really fits the blueprint of what a presidential candidate should be, until he says ridiculous shit like this. He's calling for a government-run smart grid that could easily be turned on and off by the U.S. government. Let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say.
How is a broke federal government going to invest this much money to build a national grid?
Well, the grid itself is not going to cost that much. The grid itself will probably cost about $250 billion to build a smart grid that reaches most of America, and that that can do the things that we need to do, like can send signals through the line, allow the utilities to send a signal through the line to turn off the hot water boilers in 1 million homes for 15 minutes in order to avoid the peak demand that is the most expensive part of our electrical system. If you eliminated peak, you save enough natural gas in our country to power the entire U.S. Passenger car fleet. So, and we can do that just by using...
Do you hear this fucking insanity? This guy thinks that the government should have the permission to shut off the stuff that we pay for to use in this country. People fought, bled, died, lost body parts, lost their eyes, arms, hearing, the ability to move, to fight to have this place be as free as it still is, if you want to call it that. And then you have ass clowns like this guy right here that thinks that they should just be able to flip a little switch and shut off a million boilers or whatever the hell he said to save a little bit of electricity. Because you're nothing but a chunk of meat to them that needs to be fed the lowest quality trash to keep you as sick as possible, or at least as unhealthy as possible, so you can remain a customer to the medical system, who will gladly treat your conditions with medications that cause more conditions that you need treatments for too. All this because the government wants to have control over your heat, over your boiler systems, over your power consumption, over your vehicles that are all connected to a grid. Oh, because if you're somebody like me who starts talking things like this, you're going against our narrative, sir. We're going to have to shut your car off for a week. You can figure out how else to make that 25-mile one-way trip to work. Because if you miss work, we're going to turn off your money too. With the CBDC that they want to bring in. Yeah. But, it's a little bit of food for thought for some of you single-issue voters. Let's go ahead and finish the rest of this.
Using the grid smartly. A grid that sends a signal to turn off all the electric toothbrush rechargers, to turn off your swimming pool recirculators and all of these things. You don't care if somebody turns them off for 15 minutes and you sign something. It can go into your car.
You don't work your ass off to pay for your electric bill or to pay for that swimming pool you have at home. You don't spend all your money and time to earn these things. So Mr. Government right here wants to shut off that pump that circulates your water and filters the garbage out of it. So they would rather you swim in dirty algae water and, unfiltered water in a pool that you spent thousands of dollars to even have to begin with, in dollars that were taxed about 7 times before you actually got to spend them on something. But yeah, all right, let's keep going.
Car and borrow the stored electricity in your car, in your battery, whether you got a plug-in hybrid or a plug-in car, and so we need to build a smart grid that costs very little.
So they want to discharge the batteries in your cars to this. How? I don't understand how anybody could sit there and vote on one issue. Oh, he seems friendly to crypto. This dude wants to control everything that you use every day. He's a textbook example of what Klaus Schwab wants installed in governments around the world. You will own nothing and be happy. You will eat the bugs. God forbid you're allowed to enjoy some meat because the cow farts pollute the air too much. Don't believe me? Look this crap up. Anyway, so the point of my video today is to reach out to single issue voters to bring stuff like this to their attention. It would be, this is my opinion here, it's in America's better interest to elect somebody who might not be as gung-ho for crypto, but would refuse to even consider sitting down at some Commonwealth Club Climate One discussion to talk about how they can just flip a switch and shut off all of our electricity because we're using too much. You want to talk about countries around the world that are putting out so much greenhouse gases and emissions and causing global warming? Look up at some of the statistics out there about the countries that actually do produce emissions, and you'll find out the United States isn't at the top of the list. But yet, this guy, even though he might be friendly with crypto, let's go ahead and vote for him, even if it does mean that he gets to flip a switch and shut off your electric. Anyway, there's some food for thought for you single issue voters. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.